If you're struggling to make the most out of the DJI Osmo Pocket 4, I got you covered. In this video, I'm gonna give you the best cinematic settings to make the most out of this camera. Now you may have seen my hands-on review where I really put this camera to the test. And a lot of you guys were asking, how the hell did you get such crisp footage out of the Osmo Pocket 4? So I thought, no more gatekeeping. I'm gonna walk you through step by step on how you can do the same thing. Now first things first, we wanna start with a fresh canvas. So make sure to swipe left, and by default, the camera comes in pretty much easy mode, and we wanna turn that off, and instead turn on Pro mode. Once you turn on Pro mode, scroll all the way down and go find image adjustments. When you click image adjustments, you can choose between texture and noise reduction. And for me, what works best is going with -2 for texture and -1 for noise reduction. Because I don't want any of that processing happening inside the camera. I would like to have as much freedom later in post. So make sure to enable that. Now the next thing you want to change is the color profile. This is actually a huge feature on the Osmo Pocket 4 because you can now finally shoot in a true D-Log color profile. This will give you more creative freedom in post and you just have more control over your colors. So once you do that, make sure to also turn on color recovery because that way you can preview of what it looks like once you convert your footage back into Rec 709. On the Osmo Pocket 4, you can shoot up to 4K 240 frames per second, but that's obviously not what you want to shoot everything in, so different scenarios require different settings. For most of your everyday stuff, I suggest to shoot in either 4K 24 or 4K 30. This will give you the most natural look, and if you pair it up with the right shutter speed, you get that cinematic feel that you're probably after. In order to change the shutter speed, all you want to do is swipe left and then click on exposure. Once you're on exposure, you want to make sure to follow the 180-degree rule. Basically what that means is that when you shoot in 30 frames per second, you want to make sure that your shutter speed is at 1/60. That way you have natural motion blur and it will 100% improve your footage. For the ISO, you want to keep it as low as possible because the higher the ISO, the more noise you introduce to your footage. So I'd like to keep that anywhere between 400 and 1600. Now you may notice that when you follow your settings, your footage may look very overexposed. And that's a really fair point. And that's why 99.9% of the time, I'm gonna take advantage of ND filters. ND filters are basically sunglasses for your camera and they're really important because that's the only way that you can keep your shutter speed and your frames per second in balance. Personally, I like to use the ND filters by Freewell. You can use this creator combo here, which allows you to have an ND8, ND32, ND128, and you also have a couple of attachments that you can play with. One of them is a wide angle, which is really nice to use, but you also have an anamorphic and a macro lens mode. Now that we covered the everyday stuff, let's talk about the slow-mo. With the Osmo Pocket 4, you can now shoot in up to 240 frames per second, which is an absolutely insane feature to have. The only downside is that you can't shoot in D-Log. Unfortunately, you can only shoot in a normal color profile. So make sure before you start shooting to 1, check your shutter speed, as I said before, 180 rule, and also make sure that your image adjustment is also set up properly, as I explained before. Texture -2, noise reduction -1. This will give you the best possible result out of the slow-mo feature, and to be honest, the slow motion does the heavy lifting anyways. But of course, if you really want to shoot in D-Log, you can always shoot in 4K 60, but unfortunately, you won't be able to have that ultra slow motion. By the way, if this all sounds too complicated or you're like, Breezy, there is just no way I'm gonna remember all this, don't worry, I got you. I'll put together a one-pager PDF. It's linked down below. It's completely for free and you can download it so you have it always on you when you need it. Also, if color grading is not something you're really into or you're just new to this whole log ecosystem, I've partnered up with my friends at ToneLab, which basically allow you to have a fully integrated LUT library within your editing software. So whether you're on Premiere Pro, Final Cut Pro, or DaVinci, you'll have access to a huge library of LUTs. And most importantly, you have also all the conversion LUTs that you could possibly need, including for the D-Log color profile. I'm gonna link it down below, and if you use my code, you can save yourself some cash at checkout. Obviously, the Osmo Pocket 4 is a camera on a gimbal, and that's why so many people probably love this camera, including myself. However, just because it's on the gimbal, it doesn't mean that it's super stable. So there's a couple of things that you need to consider when filming with this camera. When you swipe down in your menu, you can choose between 4 different gimbal modes. And the ones that I usually use most is follow and FPV. Follow mode, imagine you're trying to get really super cinematic pans, everything is quite slow, but really with intention. That's really where this mode shines. But if you need agility, if you're trying to chase a subject or you want to get nice close, FPV mode is the way to go. But ultimately, it's really up to you. What do you prefer in what situation? That's really something that you will develop through shooting with this camera. But personally, that's how I like running things. There are also a bunch of other features such as active tracking or the 2x lossless zoom, but these are really things that I'd like you to experiment with because there's no really rule of thumb on when to use what. Use your common sense and of course, play around with it. And a pro tip, utilize the ninja walk. I know it looks funny, I even crack up every time I do it, but ultimately you get really nice looking footage that way because you can take one step at a time, nice and slow, walk with intention like a ninja would, and you get really better looking footage overall. Now, if you would like a more in-depth review or more of a hands-on approach, I strongly suggest you to check out my other video where I really go behind the scenes. I walk you through step by step of what settings I use, how I film it, and most importantly, how you can guarantee that your footage looks as crisp as possible. And of course, if you have any questions about the settings or anything about this or the other video, drop them down below, of course. And as always, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Let's go.